Mounce, BBG, chapter 25, sentence 9. Starts off with an Allah, so but. And of course, you've seen Lego Humin enough that you know that that's I say to you, right? Follow with a hot T, so following a verb of communication, you're going to translate that as that, right? So, but I say to you that, and here's this odd chi. Um, we need to talk about. So chi can be and, even, or also. If you happen to notice Mounce's notes here, this is one of those odd places where none of those three really work based on the context, and it has this extra sense of beyond also, where it's sort of like indeed, like even him, sort of. But he suggests translating it here as indeed, and I would go with him on that because I think that fits the idea that the author's trying to get across. So Elijah, right? So, but I say to you that indeed Elijah, and then hopefully you remember seeing this and realizing that this is one of those odd verbs that when it goes to the perfect, it mutates into this strange thing where this is not an augment and this is not reduplication. This is simply, from alelutha. The perfect stem is alelutha, which is from erkamai. And once you know that, then you can see the epsilon nu and see that that's third singular, which is good because that lines up with Elijah. Subject verb agreement would expect a third singular verb here, which is what you have. So that indeed Elijah has come, and all right, then we treat the second clause. Here you have, it's from poieo. So as soon as you know it's from poieo, then you can see this is the augment, which tells you you're probably dealing with an aorist. And then you see this and say, well, that's a third plural. So aorist third plural from poieo is going to be something like they did, right? And this is here's where it does collocate right when you say to him, they did to him, and that was not good what they did to him. So there it's a good collocation for English to work that way. And they did to him how much, or as much as, and then you have another unusual verb. This one, you kind of look at it and you say, well, could that be an augment where I'm really looking at an epsilon or an alpha? Well, actually, in this particular case, the imperfect form does start with an eta, and what you have is the verb thelo, right? Which is wish or desire, or want. I want, I wish, I desire. So treating this as, then that becomes present stem when you look at it that way. So present stem plus augment means imperfect, right? So then you got to say, well, with that ending, omicron nu, it's either first singular or third plural, right? So, but, looking at this as a third plural, it would be kind of odd. And they did to him as much as I wanted, as I was wanting, making sure you translate it as an imperfect. But if you have continuity, and this is a third plural, this is the third plural, that makes great sense. And they did to him as much as they were wanting, right? They did to him as much as they were wanting. So again, we're treating this as from thelo. You might even have a little dyslexia going on and look at this as aelthon, but and I could easily see where that would happen. But again, I would encourage you to just take a look at that base and say, well, okay, thelo. All right. So they did to him as much as they were wanting, just as. All right. And here you have, you recognize it's from grapho, right? You recognize the reduplication with the gamma epsilon. So, and then you have this passive ending, third singular. No other obvious subject in there, so you're going to treat this as just as it has been written. If you wanted to do it, as close to the perfect idea as you could. You know, we probably wouldn't say it. We would just say use a simple past there. But um, you know, the idea is it was written down and it still remains written. Um, but you know, if you just said something like "it is written," that's fine in this particular instance because that's the way we would say it in English. So just as it is written about or concerning him, and again, accusative here because it's the object of the preposition epi. All right, so I run back to the beginning and start again and say, but I say to you that indeed Elijah has come. This one's perfect. And they did aorist to him as much as imperfect they were wanting, just as it has been written or it is written concerning him.